Hi, this is my research paper presentation. Um, so yeah, so I have Wolf-Hirschhorn syndrome. So we're just gonna go dive into the details behind the syndrome. So we're gonna start with the definition of the disability, and then we're gonna go over some characteristics of the disability, which can be facial or physical, how it affects the education of the student, and the statistics behind the disability. So first, I wanted to introduce myself as this is an online class. My name is Savanna. I am a primary ed and special ed major. I also major in intervention specialist and ASL communications. I enjoy working with kids and helping them get over their struggles. Being able to put a smile on a child's face and seeing them succeed in school is why I chose this career path. Also, my mom is in the same career path and has been for about 30 years. I am also a teacher for autistic nonverbal students currently, which has helped me learn a lot of knowledge on different disabilities for this class specifically. So, the definition of the disability. So, what is Wolf-Hirschhorn syndrome? A lot of people have asked. I honestly didn't know much about it when I first researched it. So, it was really cool to learn all the different facts about it. It is essentially a deletion of chromosome 4, which can make many changes in cognitive and physical development. So, which can cause delayed growth, weak muscle tone, which is referred to as hypotonia, and diminished communication skills and social skills. So, I had inserted a picture of where you would generally see the chromosome 4 and where it would be deleted for a child that has Wolf-Hirschhorn syndrome. We generally see this picture when we are talking about Down syndrome. We can see the deletion of chromosome 23. So, what are the characteristics of Wolf-Hirschhorn syndrome? So, we're going to be going into the facial characteristics first. Broad nasal bridge, high forehead, large eyes, or bulging eyes, small chin, short philtrum, downturned mouth, poorly formed ears, or asymmetrical face, or a cleft lip. So in this first picture, we see a baby who has a cleft lip, which just means their lip is a little bit higher raised on one side than a normal or a person without the syndrome would have. In the second picture with this little boy, he has bulging eyes, which just means his eyes are popping out a little bit more than what we see on our faces. He also has high forehead, and it looks like he has some asymmetrical face. It is hard to tell with the angle of this photo. In this bottom photo, we see a little girl. She has ears on her. The ears on the sides are different heights. So one is higher than the other, which can be related to asymmetrical face or poorly formed ears. One of her sides of the face also seems to be down, drooping a little bit, which is also asymmetrical face. She also has bulging eyes. It is hard to tell from the side view, but you can generally see it from the front. She also has a downturned mouth, which can generally just look like she's frowning more than she is smiling. So for growth and development, this can be delayed growth, underweight, feeding problems, short stature, weak muscle tone, which is again hypotonia, heart defects, kidney problems, walking, crawling, standing problems. Now, these and the characteristics listed above are not only specific to this disease, but can be seen in other disabilities, but these are the main identifications for this condition. So we're just gonna watch this little video. So you can see in that video, little boy Elliot, he suffers from this condition. He has trouble walking and supporting his weight, which can just be from weak muscle tone. Um, he uses many devices that help him gain progress in those walking problems. I highly recommend visiting their website to view the rest of his journey because it is very fascinating to see the journey of specific children and how every child is different with their own disability. Okay, so how does this syndrome affect education? So, social skills. Social skills is a huge thing in schools, especially when you're surrounded by other students your age and teachers and your principal and just people that are in the school in general. So many children with this disability struggle with communication, which can be very hard in schools with having to communicate with your peers. A lot of teachers who use group work are not able to as much with these students just because they're unable to communicate in a way that is efficient in group work. It can sometimes help if you do specialized groups with other students that also have disabilities or similar disabilities, can to make them have easier ways to learn new ways of learning. So there are so many education aids and programs that can help these students. I'm just going to go through a few so you just have an idea. So IEPs are individualized education progress systems. So these just track a specific student's work, and it's a binding and legal document between a student, parent, teacher, and principal of a school. It just lists all the different things that a student needs to focus on, what they're struggling with, how you can work with them, specific things that help them physically, like any modifications or accommodations that you need to make for a student while they're in your classroom. It just helps break everything down for the teacher to make the school year ride a little bit smoother. So augmentative and alternative communication or communication boards. So I see this a lot with autistic nonverbal students or any nonverbal student. They use communication boards or communication tablets where they're able to tap on what they need. So a teacher or person that is helping them, caregiver, is able to know what they need at the time they need it, rather than them having to find the ability to form words, since most of them are not able to. Visual schedules. This is just easier for students to be able to see a specific picture, and so they know what they have to do at each time of the day. I use these in my classroom. It works very well with my autistic nonverbal students. It keeps a lot of students from being overwhelmed and not knowing what to do when. So sensory tools or sensory toys is also very good to keep them distracted or to get them from becoming overwhelmed as well. Assistive technology, as we saw in the video before, he uses a sling, which helps carry the weight of his body to help him be able to crawl better. So I just inserted a little quote from Robert M. Hensel: "Know me for my abilities, not my disability." So a picture always reinforces the concept. As I said, following a schedule with pictures is so much better than just telling them what to do because they may not be able to understand what you're saying. So it just helps them see visually what they need to do. So we're going to go into some statistics on Wolff-Hirschhorn syndrome. So 1 in 20,000 to 50,000 births, which is so unfortunate because it just shows how hard it can be for medical professionals and really anybody to gain information and more progress on how to diagnose this syndrome. And it just shows that we're not completely ready to fully diagnose the syndrome right at birth. So who is more likely to have Wolff-Hirschhorn syndrome? It is seen that it is a 2-to-1 ratio. Every 2 females are diagnosed. There is one male diagnosed. This just might be due to the chromosomal makeup of males and females, but it does help us determine what characteristics are shown in females more than they are shown in males. So the timeline for Wolf-Hirschhorn syndrome. It was first discovered in 1961 by Cooper and Hirschhorn, which is actually really late for a disability to be discovered. Most are discovered earlier in time. It just shows that this syndrome is very complex and harder to diagnose due to the characteristics of it. So we first discovered on first natural history of Wolf-Hirschhorn syndrome in 1999. So it's only 26 years old, which is very young for a disability. In the mid 2000s, we improved of diagnosis. So we just improved our ability to diagnose this condition. So we had created testing, so prenatal testing that mothers and parents were able to do, which was very nice. So parents were able to prepare and know what they were expecting when they were having their child. Right now, we're developing more sequencing technology, which is just ways to be able to find the disability different times in life. So different things that affect the disability, different things that bring it out more, and ways that we can specifically help a child. So yeah, that is my presentation. Thank you so much for listening and have a great rest of your day.